Hello there once again, my friends. It's a pleasure to introduce to you a little but largely loved barnacle who goes by the name of Perceves, or gooseneck barnacles. Portuguese cultural heritage, especially in the southwestern region of the Algarve, and one of the most expensive seafoods in the world. An absolute delicacy and embedded in our local culture and history. Further on in this video, I will be showing you how to catch and cook them. The Portuguese way, no fuss, no complications, just minimalistic simplicity and maximum taste. The scientific name is Percebes, but is better known as Percebes. The Percebes is a species of goose barnacle, also well known under the taxonomic synonym Percebes cornucopia. It is closely related to Percebes polymerus, a species with the same common names, but found on the Pacific coast of North America, and to Percebes elegans, a species from the coast of Chile. It is found on rocky shores in the northeast Atlantic Ocean and is prized as a delicacy, especially in the Iberian Peninsula. The Perceves start out life as larvae and pass through 7 different free swimming stages for at least a period of a month. Then they settle into the adult form. They can live potentially for decades and achieve adulthood within their first year, and are generally harvested or obtain an acceptable size to be harvested within 2 to 5. They are protected here in the SACV region from the 15th of September until the 15th of December to allow for repopulation and growth. Each licensed fisherman may only collect 2 kilo, and the minimum size is 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters. There are exceptions to this limit, that being for the professional mariscadores or foragers. These mariscadores are very few, and a limit of only 80 licenses are granted by the Institute of Conservation of Nature and Forests. There is an entire cultural section dedicated to this little barnacle, and those brave gatherers whom risk their lives on occasions, fronting the might of the North Atlantic to harvest these delicacies. There have been books written about them. They were called the Heróis do Mar, heroes of the sea. Not the easiest job in the world, and a heavily regulated and policed activity. For these little barnacles are a little gold mine, and where there is money there is mischief, and there are a lot of illegal foragers. This delicacy can reach 20 to 30 euros per kilo and be sold for as much as 90 in restaurants. A small fortune. A treasure, barnacle gold, delicacy, a kiss from the sea itself. We have a yearly event celebrating this little barnacle, the Festival of the Percebes, which gathers people from all areas and countries to celebrate and enjoy this delicacy.
Por Paulo, cozinheiro e mariscador de mão cheia.
Mais fresco do que isto não há. Fizemos a semana 3 dias de apanha, 3 a 4 dias de apanha. Entre todos somos 20 e poucos associados. E se acabar também é ótimo, é sinal que não se estraga e que toda a gente petiscou um bocadinho de percebo.
A nossa expectativa é que a partir das 10 da noite, 10 e meia da noite, à semelhança dos anos passados, ficamos sem percebes. E sempre que assim o permite, nós lá estamos, onde o mar bate, é lá que estão os percebes e é lá que nós vamos.
A receita é simples, água e sal. Difícil é apanhá-los. Os mariscadores descem às rochas presos por cordas, quase não se distinguem dos varedos de cor escura. Não é por acaso que lhes chamam heróis do mar.
Mais 2 horas. É extremamente desgastante.
Eles têm que ir por cordas, eles têm aqui uma série de riscos da sua própria vida e que nada paga, sem dúvida. Por isso, eu acabo por achar sempre que o preço é baixo para aquilo que eles arriscam, para nós podermos saborear este beijo do mar, sim.
Na emenda há mais petiscos, mas o rei da festa é mesmo o Percebe, com V, como se diz por cá.
Probarlo aqui em Vila do Obispo e hemos venido al festival por casualidad, vamos.
¿Ya conocías los Percebes?
Sí, haciendo el camino de Santiago en Galicia los probamos.
Beautiful, very good, very tasty, lovely flavour of the ocean.
We saw a program with
Gordon Ramsay, a
yeah.
famous British chef. He went to the west coast of Portugal to hunt the scavenge, the barnacles. So we wanted to try them.
E porque o fim de semana é de calor, não hão de faltar refrescos para ajudar a empurrar o lanchinho.
Not bad, for a barnacle. Okay, and now for the legislation and applicable laws. You don't want to have to pay a hefty fine, and the maritime police monitor the Percebes foraging like a hawk. If you have a valid pesca ludica or submariner license, you are allowed to collect up to 2 kilos with the aid of an arreliada. An arreliada is a traditional type of metallic utensil, of a variable length with a frontal cutting edge, of 3 centimeters width maximum, and a complete blade length of no more than 20 centimeters, and may be fixed to a short handle that does not exceed 60. Besides the conservation period, there are other restrictions on harvesting this barnacle, such as locations, which I will share with you now. But you can also try these addresses and see firsthand. There are areas which are fully protected and not even human presence is allowed. And there are areas which are partially protected and conditional harvesting is permitted. Here is as shown on the sites previously mentioned. Barranco do Falcate to Barradinha in Algesur. Ilha do Pessegueiro in the freguesia of Porto Covo. Ilhotas do Martinhal in Sagres. Pedras da Atalaia, near Vila Nova de Mil Fontes. Pedras da Enseada do Santoleiro and Baía da Nau. Odemira, Pedra do Burinho, Sines. Pedra do Caraça e Agulha, Arifana. Pedra das Gaivotas e do Gigante, Cape St. Vincent. These rocky little islands are strictly protected, and the mere human presence is met with a hefty fine, so better avoid them at all cost. I will leave links in the comments so as this information may be accessed directly to clarify any further doubts. Any more information, it is better to check with the maritime police before just heading out there and unwillingly getting into trouble. And that's exactly what I did. No, by no means getting into trouble. I checked with the local authorities and got out there to gather some of those delicacies myself. I used to do this years ago when I was a child, and before any of these restrictions existed. But those were other days. And welcome to the west coast of the Algarve, both brutal in natural beauty as weather and seas, a breathtaking place and a nature reserve. Simply stunning. And here is the home of the Perceves, where the ocean relentlessly pounds against the shore. It is in these rocks and rock formations that we find them, but not as easy as you think, for they hide in crevasses, cracks, and the most inaccessible places you can imagine. Here are a bunch of them. Takes a wise eye to see them against the rocks and the mussels. But these ones are few, let's leave them to colonize, and the bigger, better ones are at the water's edge, where it is extremely dangerous. Many lives have been lost whilst after these delicacies. It is a very risky task and should not be taken lightly. The sea does not care who, what, where or why you are there. If you are not careful, it will take you. And if you do so choose to venture off and try gather some yourselves, please remember rule number 1. Never, but never turn your back on the sea. My arreliada and net in hand. Now just need to find those allowed to be harvested. Not as easy as you may think. I'm not the only one doing this, and competition is fierce. And the decent-sized ones are generally where few dare to go. Also, whilst foraging, try take a little from here, a little from there. Don't devastate an area. This way, if you are selective picking, the little ones left behind will eventually grow, spread, and occupy the harvested areas. Cannot reach in there. Good for them. No one can bother them here. Possibly that's one of the reasons the size and shaft on the arreliadas are limited to a maximum size. Take your hat off to those whom do this for a living and their livelihood. It is exceptionally dangerous. One mistake and it's all over. 20 to 25 euros a kilo. Not at all bad considering. You may be thinking, just go on a calmer day. Quite right. It is not by any means advisable to gather in weather like this. But these little things are a little gold mine, and the rush to gather them before anyone else is mad. Also, the best can only be gathered at very low tides, which not always coincides with very calm weather. That's nature. Felt like a full day's worth of hard work. But I was only effectively there for an hour, to gather a handful or two of Perceves, which will be gone in a minute. And what a way to end up. An hour there and back. An hour soaked and battered by the waves. An immense effort for a handful of Perceves, to be appreciated with friends and gone in 60 seconds. Isn't time very relative? Mission accomplished. What a day. And this is how we gather Perceves Portuguese style. I wouldn't have it any other way.